Hello, I'm Alex Dimmer. I'm your host today for UPTV's Roc Nation. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning. We're going to be hitting up some nationality rooms as we discuss Pittsburgh sports, Pitt sports, national sports. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about with the NBA season, the NHL season more than halfway done, MLB Spring Training underway, and March Madness right around the corner. So let's start with our Pitt guys. So gentlemen, this Pitt basketball team has certainly struggled this season. They're now just above 500 on the year. They're going to have to get a win to guarantee an over 500 season. We haven't seen a team in the NIT under 500 or at 500 in a very long time. Do we think that Pitt's going to be able to get some wins and get into the NIT? Do you think they have the resume to do it, or are they CBI bound?
I think they need to be over 500 to get into the NIT, and they're 15-14 right now. I think it's vital that they beat either Georgia Tech or Virginia. Most likely, we're going to see them beat Georgia Tech of those two. Maybe they get a win in the ACC tournament as well, but it's really hard to see this team making a deep run in the ACC. So I think a win over either GT or Virginia is absolutely crucial to this team's hopes of getting in the NIT.
And you know what, Jason? They are more than capable of beating this Georgia Tech team. They are 306th in the entire country in offensive rating, and they only have 3 double-digit scores. Shouldn't be any problem for Pitt's defense, and I think they're more than capable of getting one ACC tournament win as well.
Look, the problem is Pitt's defense has been utterly lacking all year. They're the bottom 50 teams in the nation in terms of defensive rating. And look, I've spent a lot of time thinking about how bad this team can be, and there really is no limit to the depths that they sink to. It's been this way all year. When the chips are down, Pitt doesn't have it in them to pull out a win when they really need it.
Thank you very much, guys. Pitt basketball has struggled, but there are a lot of great college basketball teams with some really great players. Let's go to our national college sports guys to talk about their thoughts on the Wooden Award race. All right, guys. So in the college basketball world, we're nearing the end. We're getting to March Madness. We're getting to those tournament games. But now we've got to think about who has been the best player in college basketball. Who is your favorite to win the Wooden Award as the best player in college basketball?
There's only one choice for the Wooden Award winner, and that is Purdue's big man, Caleb Swanigan. He's averaging 18.6 points, 12.6 rebounds, and almost 3 assists per game, leading Purdue from a team that was in the middle of the pack last year to true Big Ten contenders. He is that good, and he has dominated every big man he's come up against this year, and that's why he should be the Wooden Player of the Year.
Well, Caleb Swanigan, definitely one of the best players in the country, but the guy for me is going to be Duke shooting guard Luke Kennard. He's averaging about 20 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 2 assists, and shooting about 46% from three-point range. Also, in total, 50% from the field. I mean, the guy stepped in when a lot of the forwards and guards for Duke got hurt earlier on in the year. Stepped in, and now one of the best players on the team. And he's been a stud for them. He's going to be a big reason why they're going to have some success in the ACC and NCAA tournaments.
The one thing with Kennard, though, is that he doesn't have to deal with that much defensive attention because he has Grayson Allen, Frank Jackson, Emil Jefferson on his team. Purdue, they have a few guys, Vance Edwards, Isaac Haas, but the defense solely focuses on Caleb Swanigan, and despite that, he goes out and gets those points and rebounds every game.
See, but I would also argue that Caleb Swanigan is the only offensive option for the Boilermakers. Whereas, Luke Kennard or so many other guys he has to contend with for touches, for shots. He's doing a lot and has to play through other guys to get his, to get his looks. I think that's why Luke Kennard is one of the better players, the most improved players in college basketball.
Thank you very much, guys. 2 very great college basketball players. No Pitt love, but 2 great choices. Now we're going to head over to our next group. That's the Pittsburgh Sports Group. They're going to talk about one of the best sports guys in Pittsburgh in the last couple of years. He's going through some changes. We'll see what they think about it. So guys, Andrew McCutchen, Pittsburgh Pirates. He's been one of the best players for this Pirates team in the last couple of years. Has really grown the Pirates brand, but now he's going through some changes. They're moving him over to right field from center field, moving Starling Marte into center field. Do you think that that's the right choice for the Pirates? Do you think it improves them this season?
I think it's absolutely the right choice. Andrew McCutchen has done so much for the Pirates organization, and I don't want to take away from that. But you could clearly tell that he lost a step last year. He's slower, and you want a guy who can cover a lot of ground in center field. That's Starling Marte. You want a guy with a strong arm in center field. That's Starling Marte. Andrew McCutchen, while still a great player, is not the same guy he was. You want your best outfielder overall in center field, and that is clearly Marte. He's won 2 consecutive Gold Gloves, granted not in center field, but I think the skills he's shown has proved that he would be their best center fielder. He's their best option for this year.
I'm going to tell you why it's not the right move. And this is not to say Starling Marte won't be a better center fielder than Andrew McCutchen would have been. I think he will be. But in baseball, you want your strongest arms in the corner outfield spots. Like you said, Starling Marte has the strongest arm. He led the National League in outfield assists each of the last 2 years, doing that from left field. You need your strongest arms in left and right field, where they had Marte and Gregory Polanco, who's arguably just as strong an arm, two of the strongest arms in the National League. And so moving Marte to center field, you're sacrificing all those outfield assists. He's not going to be able to throw guys out at home from center field the way he could in left field. And McCutchen is not going to throw anyone out at second base from the right field wall, just like Polanco could. So you're moving everybody around, and I'm just questioning whether the sacrifice is worth it.
Well, when you look at the statistics, it's no question that Andrew McCutchen was worse the last 2 years at center field than anywhere else. The guy was graded as the worst center field in baseball according to sabermetrics this past season, and I think it reflects in his fielding percentage. The biggest thing is that Marte is going to provide overall fielding improvement, and I think it'll improve the Pirates' defense. When you talk about throwing out, well, the biggest thing, you take a huge risk when you throw home. And yes, having Marte and Polanco there gave you a better advantage, but a more likely out will be when you throw from center field to third base, stretching out guys, stopping guys who are stretching out doubles into triples. And I think that improvement will not only help the Pirates' defense, but it will prevent throws home being necessary for this team.
The other thing that people are forgetting about is, yes, you want your best, fastest outfielder in center field, no question, that's Starling Marte. That's in most parks. At PNC Park, left field is arguably just as important. You got the notch in left center field. That's the deepest part of the ballpark. Marte's been playing there for 4 or 5 years now. He's just starting to master the position. You know, he won his 2 gold gloves in left field. Gregory Polanco was just starting to master the Clemente wall in right field. That's a tough place to get used to. Now you put McCutchen over there, he's going to have to get used to that for the first time. They're all transitioning into new spots they're going to have to get adjusted to, and it's going to mess up all the chemistry they built in that outfield over the last few years. I just don't think it's worth it, and I don't think it's the right call.
Thank you very much, guys. Some interesting talk here. Andrew McCutchen, what's his season going to look like? What are the Pirates going to look like? They've got high aspirations, but what can they do? We're going to look over at our national sports guys, see what they think with spring training underway about baseball as a whole, and see some teams that they think could surprise us. So guys, MLB Spring Training underway. We got to look for some teams that we think are going to surprise us, some teams that we may not expect to be very good who are going to have some good seasons. What do you guys think?
Well, I think the team we have to start with is the Seattle Mariners. I mean, the team with really good pitching with Iwakuma and Hernandez, King Felix up there, and they also are beginning productions from some of the young prospects like Kyle Seager. And their free agent signings have really clicked in the past few years. Robinson Cano, after having a bad first year, really started to step up. And Nelson Cruz just keeps hitting home runs, even after his bad years in Rangers, picked it up with the Orioles and then signed a big deal and keeps smashing.
Yeah, see, I think if you want to talk about a team, though, that has really, made some free agency acquisitions and really, turned things around, I look in the NL and I look at the Colorado Rockies. They're bringing a guy like Ian Desmond who can just flex all over the field. He can play any number of positions. I know they're trying in the outfield, they're trying him at first. He's going to hit and he's going to do very well in the field. They also signed a guy like Greg Holland, who is not pitched in a while, but is still one of the better relief pitchers in baseball. So I think they did a lot for their bullpen. They did a lot for their lineup. A lineup that still has guys like Carlos Gonzalez, Nolan Arenado, who's one of my favorite players. I think maybe the best third baseman in baseball right now. There's a really good team who's made a lot of good acquisitions, and I think they can compete now in that NL.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a problem with pitching. Another team that really doesn't have great pitching is the Baltimore Orioles, but can they keep hitting those great home run teams that they've had with Mark Trumbo coming in, Nelson Cruz the past few years, Manny Machado, is he still the best third baseman? Between him and Arenado is the real question, who wins it. They just got to get some solid pitching for that staff.
And I'll say this about the Rockies as far as pitching goes as well. Obviously, they play in one of the tougher parts to pitch in the MLB. It can be really difficult to throw those breaking balls. They have a guy like John Gray now, who struggled a little bit last year, but definitely showed some flashes. And I think he can be a top of the rotation guy, a guy who doesn't rely too much on his breaking ball. Should be able to pitch fairly successfully in Coors Field, and finally, bring some pitching stability to a team that badly needs it.
And not just Ian Desmond with his fielding, we also can look at his hitting. His hitting's picked up in the past few years, and with a guy like Nolan Arenado, he could even go. I see him as one of my top candidates for a 50 home run season. He can just bomb that ball and come into right where the prime of his career, where we've seen him just incrementally get better and better and better. His defense and offense is really clicking. So I think the Colorado Rockies are the real one selection.
I absolutely love what they did. I think they're really going to start competing and really start to turn things around in Colorado.
They need it too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Those teams may surprise, but will either of them be able to beat the Chicago Cubs? I don't think so. With that, I've been your host, Alex Dittmar. That was UPTV's Roc Nation for this week. Tune in again next time. We'll have you covered for Pitt, Pittsburgh, and national college and pro sports as always. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.